All right, Sam,
Samwise.
you ready?
All right. Did you say
Samwise.
Samwise or say? Yeah, I remember I used to come in there. You know,
You remember? Yeah, he just said, I was like, why did I stop? Yeah.
Nice.
I used to think this guy was mocking, flattering me. Then.
I do
No,
have good
no.
news before we
I love
start.
Samwise.
Oh yeah, give us good
I
news.
Yeah.
so I won my first 11v11 tournament today. Remember
Awesome.
the girls that I
That's
was
good.
telling you that I've been trying to improve? They finally won a tournament today.
Oh.
That's
It had
good.
everything. It had everything in it. They came second 2 weeks ago. They were very upset about it. This week they played at the gold level and they found a way to win the game. I was so proud of them. They won the final 3-0. This was the same team that they played the day before, 1-1. We missed so many chances and then they scored at the last minute. But today, they were all falling apart with injury, but they found a way. Two free kicks from the same person, and then one final goal from one of my strikers that her leg was already gone. She just found a way to score. So it was a good day. It was a good day.
When you say
That's good.
tournament, what's the format? How many games? When does it start? When does it end?
So you definitely play 3 or more games.
Okay.
Definitely. Every team plays three or
Over
more
the
games.
course of
Standard. Over the course of 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you travel or did it come to you?
It's I went to Goodlettsville. I mean, it's kind of
Oh,
around. Yeah. I should have
which
let you guys
Yeah.
know.
I
Next
where
love
is
time I'll
I
that?
love
let you know.
I
Yeah,
love Goodlettsville. It's a
I,
great sorry, it's a very wonderful Tennessee city. It's just
yeah.
such a
Mhm.
fantastic the nature trails and especially the wildlife.
Let's get this party started.
Okay.
Yeah,
Starting the
I
timer for 30 minutes.
all right. Du- 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 du. All right. Hmm.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Oh, we have the guitar on. In that note,
Yeah.
welcome, amigos. It's your boy Mide. Welcome back. Hope you all are doing well. We have the amigos back. We have the trio back. We are back with the bang. Week 5 reactions. Some scintillating games, the amigos. Of course, before we start, always have to introduce my boys to my right as well. Amigo Ayo, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Just happy to be here. Just such a great day.
Yes.
Just
Oh, of course it is.
non-controversial games. Just things going the way you expect. Just just the Premier League is just a great advert for just soccer at its highest level. The professionalisms of the referees. We have the best
I
referees in
love
the
the
world. Oh my god,
sarcasm.
it is just such a great institution. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, that's awesome. Cannot wait to hear your feedback or your reactions about that Arsenal Man City game. That's a chess game to me. I would love to hear your thoughts. Amigo Sam, good to see you, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Came back into the week with a 3-0 win.
Of course.
It doesn't
Of
get better
course.
than that. Yeah.
And your boy
We
Darwin Nunez finally scored and he was crying. Emotional, but I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for him too. That man scores the craziest goal ever. The simple
I
ones, he doesn't
know.
score them. It's just the ones that makes you go like, okay.
Huh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's good to be back, amigos. Good to see you guys' faces.
That's awesome. Hey, amigos, hope you all enjoyed that week 5. It was a lot of fun games. It seems to me that every Premier League game is becoming more interesting, more controversial, more entertaining for not just the neutrals, but also very, very astute and very knowledgeable. I don't want to say pundits like us because we're not pundits, we're just fans who love the game. But understanding the game from a tactical standpoint and from a statistic standpoint, it's just fun to watch. So, love to hear your thoughts and comments. Of course, like, share, and subscribe. Provide your comments down below. Ayo, we'll start with you. Arsenal Man City. What a game that was. Your thoughts?
Oh my god, I was racing from church. Guess service finished at 10. My wife wanted to talk to her friends, and I was like, "Not today, not today." Like so, just on the road straight. Like I'm not swimming for traffic. I'm a safe driver. But like first things then, I don't like take off my church clothes, just like sit down, grab some popcorn, and I'm watching this game. because I just want to see, could Arsenal compete? And initially, it looked like we are gonna be in trouble. Like, they're bossing the game, and it's to be expected with Man City controlling possession. But Haaland scores after 9 minutes, and you're like, what kind of game are we watching? And this is a time in Arsenal's career or Arsenal state where 5 years ago that game is gone. Like, you're going to lose that 4-1, 5-0, or something ridiculous. But they just managed, and they managed that situation, and they got it back on track, scored the equalizer, and with clever play in the corner kick, they scored and they went ahead. And so I'm excited. I had to go, like, go see if there's some food. And I go and do something, I come back, and it's the ads are going on. I'm like super buzzing. And like the commentator starts and they start talking about red card. I'm like, what red card are we talking about? I'm looking at the chat and I'm like, oh my God, like Trossard has got a red card. And it's like, did he lose his mind? What did he do? And just to go and see the video, and it's like, oh, he kicked the ball. And I was like, on a derby that might decide how the championship go. That's the event that you send the player off. I remember Michael Oliver last season when we went to Man City away. Kovacic was playing, and in the first half, he had a really horrendous tackle. Right? It was like, at best it was orange. And he got a yellow card. In the second half, he did the exact same tackle. He didn't get a card. He should have been walking immediately. Like, he saw that. I'm sure even in his mind, they started like getting ready to substitute. He didn't get a card. Michael Oliver officiated the game, and when they asked him after the game, he said he didn't want the referee to be the main protagonist. He said that. He literally said that. And this was a situation where you're like, this was a violent tackle. At minimum, 2 yellow cards, and he's gone. And he says no.
Exactly.
And then you come to this situation, you've blown. This is less than 2 seconds, right? Martinelli's on the other side, so Trossard has an out and telling him that he's simply just passing the ball to counter, right? And you send him off for a red card, and the entire temperature, the entire game changes, and this cannot continue to happen because it doesn't make sense. These are not the kind of events you're supposed to send players off for. Like, I don't even want to, like, a lot of Arsenal fans are talking about Bernardo Silva kicking the ball in the first half, not getting a yellow card. They're talking about Doku doing it, not getting a yellow card. But I'm like, that's not why we watch the game. Like, with everything that was going wrong with the refereeing last season, at no point did I sit down and have a discussion with people like, you know what? We'll make this game better. We start giving yellow cards for people interrupting fast breaks. Like, it does at no point. It's just an expected part of the game. But he went and he did it. And it just ruined the game because it was shaping up to be ultra competitive. And I simply just wanted to see, can we compete? And that thought in our head is just going to be, we just don't know now. Because, we could have played this game and still lost with 11 men. Like, it's still Man City. If we have 11 men, we're more brave. It means there's more gaps. What's it called? In behind. We might get punished. We might lose the game. But we wanted to lose on our own terms. And this can't keep happening. When this happened in the Brighton game, I said, we're going to be talking about refs. With these two decisions now, we're talking about a potential, I don't know, but potential 4-point swing. And not just a 4-point swing, we're denying them that 1 point that they actually got because we're playing them. And last season, we lost the championship by 2 points, right? What's it called? Season before that, we lost that by 5 points. We've already had this 5-point gap now taken from us where we don't know. And it should never be about the ref. I don't want to know that this dude's name is Michael Oliver. I don't care. I don't want to talk about referees. I don't want to talk about anything. I just want to talk about the game. In Arteta's his interview today, when at his last statement, he was like, We've just talked about controversies for almost 9 minutes. None of you have talked to me about tactics. None of you have asked me a single question about tactics this entire time. And that tells you where the officiating in this game has come to. Because people are like, oh, you should be. Because initially, my thought was that the referee should be more consistent, right? And we should have had 3 yellow cards. But then I thought about it. I was like, each one of those yellow cards would have been stupid. Right? Because that's not why we watch the game. And so PGMR, they've created a crazy rule that they subjectively apply that is changing the course of several games. Because and to give them credit, even if this rule was there, I put this rule at the same place as a yellow card for persistent fouling or like a yellow card for time wasting. I can understand these actions as the first yellow card, right? Where it's like, okay, you lost your buffer, right? So if something happens as your goalkeeper, you have a yellow card for time wasting, Haaland is running in on you, and you make a tackle where you missed the ball, but you went for the ball, which you're supposed to get a yellow card for, you get a red. That's what you've risked. As a defender, if you're time wasted on a throwing or something like that, a tackle that's a 50-50, that's a yellow card tackle, that's a yellow card, but you still get a red. I could understand it along those lines, even though how ridiculous it is, but to have that and to send the player off. And the rest of the game, you have to play. And then other players are doing this for no cards. If you think about it, Declan Rice, he barely touched the ball, and that's enough to yeet the players out. We have players doing ninja stuff.
Did you just say yeet, Ayo?
That's what he did. He yeeted him.
It's the passion, amigos.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's completely like it's self-defeating. I don't see how it makes what's it called the game better, and it makes sense from the defendants team to hold play before their teams get back into position. I perfectly I don't like who is asking for this. That's a question I was like, did we wake up one day? I was like, you know what would be better if we just create this rule and then apply it subjectively? No one.
No
and so
one
you reach this game, you reach this state, and I'm like, that's 4 points. Like, I hope, like we're still 2 points behind. What's it called? We play this season. This is 2 points on the early side, and I hope we just beat them fair and square. Like, I just want that. And at the end of the day, if we lose, I hope it's not by 2 or 4 points. because people start getting in their feelings. And I think it's a black stain on the refereeing. It's just not good enough. And it's too distracting from the beautiful game. Like, I go back to Arteta. Nobody asked me about tactics. And when that's the state of the game, something is wrong. Sorry. Other than that, proud of the boys. They were resilient. They did everything underneath the conditions that were set, and they looked like they were going to get that win, even at with the odds against them. But you could tell by the end their legs were done. White, people say that he wasn't too fast to challenge for the ball, but he actually wasn't supposed to be playing. It's because the game went south so badly that he was actually rested because he was actually like really, really tired. And so people were like, he should have been fresher, but no, there's a reason why he didn't start the game and Timber started. Beyond him, like everyone was just exhausted, and you could tell by how they collapsed. They were just super exhausted. So I can't blame them. They did fantastic. I just love their mentality. I just wish, because I feel they should have been rewarded a little bit more for what they gave into that game, and because of the referee, we just never know. It could have been a first win away to Man City in 5 years, maybe, or something to that level, and we just, I guess, wait. I mean, they still have to come to us, and hopefully, if we don't have Michael Oliver or that Kavanaugh guy from Brighton game,
that's another one.
Then it should be competitive, yeah. But even like, I feel like as a Liverpool fan, you probably have an issue with him too, because isn't he the guy that didn't give the penalty? What's it called?
Every Liverpool fan has a problem with referee in the Premier League. Sometimes I think we might be going too far.
Because I know he has a history with your team too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it is upsetting, annoying to see games like that when the boys put in 120%, and it comes down to the fact that the referee, the subjectivity is annoying. We have VAR. Sometimes the VAR itself, after multiple reviews, is where the disconnect comes in. It is annoying. I feel your pain. I really, really was rooting for Arsenal. Uh, and I really think they could have sealed the game through. I think the extra time was too long, personally.
Yeah.
Again, it falls back, it goes back to this idea that the league, you could easily conclude that the league is kind of tilted toward Man City winning. I
Sorry,
try
excuse
not
me.
to say things like that, bless you. I try not to say things like that, but when you look at games like this, when you look at the numbers, I look at the time, it just doesn't justify. The extra time is just not justifiable to me personally, and
Yeah. Like
it,
another narrative for that as well is that people were talking about time wasting. That half was actually the record for how much the ball was in play. What's it called? In the league so far. Just
wow,
because Man City did nothing with the ball doesn't mean we were time wasting. Like it was one of those
it's
things
crazy.
where it's because it just feels that way because they couldn't do it. Nothing. It felt like nothing was happening because we'd almost like stifled them, but the ball wasn't play. That's why it was only 7 minutes. And so when you start creeping outside and that, but even that, sorry, pardon me, I don't know, I'm losing my body's like falling apart because I'm talking about this. Like even with all of this, like I don't even worry about that because that kind of stuff has always been subjective. Wherever like he blows the whistle finally, he has that control over it. Like the goal itself, I'm not super worried about it. What I don't understand was that decision. I really don't understand. This was a game that, like you said, Mide, was played at 120%. The emotions were super high. The tension, the competitive nature. As soon as they scored, the first thing Haaland does is like pick up the ball and like smacks it on what's it called? The back of Gabriel's head. No card, no nothing. And I don't even want a card. That's just the level of what's it called of tension that like this and these games like do you remember the Arsenal Man United games what's it called of old. Like when we play when you had Roy Keane, Vieira was still there.
It's like war zone.
Like at any second they could throw hands. Like this is it's like that was never off the table. Like and that's a temperature, and you have to like referee to the temperature of what it is. If you're giving that as sending a player off, like it bummed me out. Like I was just disappointed, but it's not it's neither here nor there. I don't like take the time from everyone, but it was I'm proud yet frustrated. Mhm.
Let's talk about the other nonsense that
You don't
happened.
even know their
Brighton,
show.
Nottingham Forest.
Speaking about that, amigos, a quick highlight before we talk about Liverpool and the romantic situation that happened there with Darwin Nunes. I don't know if you all watched the Northern Forest Brighton game. That game ended 2-2. Apparently, it was a fun game and also controversial because both
Damn.
coaches got red cards. And Morgan Gibbs White's tackle, yeah, he was going for the ball, but he went behind the player. That's not acceptable
Was it
anymore.
was it a straight red?
Yeah,
No, no, I think it was the
was it?
second yellow
Was it
that
second
killed
yellow?
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I
yeah.
can see why
It happens. Yeah.
this sometimes you want referee to put emotion into game, and you also want him to follow the rules. If he
Mhm.
were to be, I don't want him to get a red card. That's why I'm saying all of this. I feel so I cannot be a referee. So if it was to be the first offense, I think he's gonna get a yellow card. We're all gonna agree to that. But when
Mhm.
it comes to the second one, you all always almost want him to temper some level of mercy, to be honest, because you want the game to be balanced. Don't tilt the game one direction with one player down. So total nonsense in terms of the coaches getting red cards.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I think it should have started with a yellow for each of them, but hey,
I hear like one of them booted the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, in anger. To be honest, if referees are
I don't
becoming
know.
a
I don't know. I was being like horribly sarcastic. Yeah.
oh really?
Yeah. It
I
doesn't.
need to watch it again.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
heard
see that,
stories
but
of it. I
you
haven't
never
seen
know.
it, but I heard stories. At the end of the day, amigo, Ayo, it goes back to what you mentioned. Referees are becoming a center of focus in the game, and I personally don't think it should be that way. I think it's taking away from the game, it's taking away from the excitement. We already have to deal with VAR, which I think people are now maybe just accepting VAR for what it is.
Hmm.
Now the referees are becoming more popular. Now we're remembering their names. And to your point about what Ateta said, these journalists should be asking about tactics. What did he do at this time? Why did he do it? It looks like it worked, or it looks like it didn't work. What could you have done differently? That's how what those conversations should be done post match conference. Not what do you think about the referee's decision? That to be honest, that's irrelevant, but again, it has an effect on the game. We move on, amigos. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your comments about that Arsenal Man City game. It was an interesting one. Calafiori's goal, quick shout outs. That was a beautiful goal. I think he meant it. I don't think he was a cross.
I'm not even sure where the conversation for like he didn't mean that. You see his body language. You see his
Yeah,
position. You see where he
yeah,
was looking. Like
yeah. He knew what he was doing. I don't know why people are arguing, oh, he was a cross. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. So quick shout out there. And then, of course, Haaland already double digits in how many games? 4 games. Yeah, he's a robot. I mean, I would say though, Ayo, that space they gave him for that first goal shouldn't be happening. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, it was a
That
mistake.
that yeah.
It was still. I mean, like in the nature of games like this, like to say like this is a mistake or not. Sometimes you just get caught. What's it called? Timing and things like that. But yeah, it on replay it looks avoidable. It looks
Hmm.
avoidable. But yeah. So
Hmm.
I'm a
Sam, what do
maybe
you think?
because I'm a definitely avoidable. Maybe because I'm a defender. I hate to say this, and I think I said it before on this show. If I'm playing and I have a player like Haaland and I have to mark this guy,
Mark
I
him like
really
Rudiger.
I really think I really think you start seeing a different Haaland. When I think it's gonna be hard to again, I'm not a pro. That's why I probably didn't go pro. I think if my responsibility is to hold down Haaland, I think it's gonna be hard for him to get past me.
What would
I'm
you
s-
do? Remind us again. What
yes,
would you do?
very good. See, one thing is you can never isolate Haaland, and whenever you mark this guy, don't try to stay beside him or in front of him. Now, stay behind him, but we also know that he's very good at turning. He's very good at turning. But I like that you mentioned Rudiger. You mentioned you didn't
I've
mention
seen the
Ramos.
video.
But here's the thing: players like
Have you
that,
seen?
you
Sorry, Sam. Have you seen the video?
of
Both of
which
you.
of them?
The one Rudiger was marking Haaland in the Champions League game last season. It was the most
No,
funniest thing. You have got to watch it, amigos. But go ahead, Sam.
please send it to us, and we need to probably link it in the show.
Okay.
So you have to mark him like you his mom. You about to give him a bear hug. For real. Because I see players like the Arsenal game, they just literally isolated him. There was confusion between the two center back. There was no proper communication. You can't give Erling Haaland or any striker that kind of space. That's too much space. He's a long guy, has longer legs, is gonna beat you to that race. I don't care who you are, Van Dijk, whatever. But you want to mark him, especially if you're a shorter defender. You don't want to try to stay in front of him because it could literally just do anything. He's big guy. Stay behind him. Two things you're doing. You're preventing him from literally turning. And also you want to put a little bit of hey, I want to kick you down in there, like Rudiger, Ramos. I'm coming in front of you. We're competing at the same time. You're in front of me. I'm literally giving you a bear hug or I'm pushing you away from the ball. But I see so many defenders, they're trying to be his body. This
yeah,
it's
I
easy to
was
turn.
I will say with the goal, I think it was more about what Silvino did that made that play like hard. What he did on his corner turned the game against that play against us. But I think he's a very strong person. I've seen him jostle with players, and he's only gotten better at that. And so you almost want to be tight, right? But if he somehow and so you slow him down, and then the other person should mop up, or vice versa. When he just has space to run in a game that transitions quickly,
Hmm.
he's really really dangerous. I think he had his chance, but what we did, we figured out we started playing a little bit more narrower, and we started pushing the wingers back because what we normally like to do is to split our defenders in build up, and we actually split them really, really wide. And the idea is that the holding midfielder is actually going to drop back and have direct access to the goalkeeper. And when the ball transitions too fast, they're still wide. Like as by the time everything is coming to place, positioning. It was kind of actually it's almost exactly how we considered against Brighton through the middle. What's it called? And it's for me, it's okay. Like I mean, it's not okay because it's 9 minutes, but it happens. Like Haaland would do that to you.
Absolutely. But
Like
in a game like that, that's a very, very big game.
yeah,
Everybody's got to be disciplined. It's just way too early to concede that kind of goal, give that much space, in my opinion.
yeah. The way he is right now, he would do that to you. Like there's something about him where it's like he can be handled. Like
Absolutely.
and after the goal came in, we handled them for the majority of the game. Like
That's what I wanted to
we,
say.
we didn't
Kudos to the
hear,
boys.
yeah, we didn't hear a peep from him, but it's still Haaland. It's almost like like you talk about like the Ronaldos of like the Messis, where it's like yeah, you can handle them for like 85%. They are the five. That's where they kill you. like,
Yeah.
and so it's only so much I can say because I don't think many strikers have that pace. Many strikers have that clarity. Many strikers can do what he did, and so I'll give them some grace. The only problem I had was that it was 9 minutes, but they recovered.
Yeah.
I can't say anything, no bad thing about Saliba and Gabriel especially. I
Mhm.
I adore him
Yeah,
though.
I think
He's
I
Yeah.
think he's
yeah.
improving like season out, season in. He's getting better. I never liked him before. I thought he was just he hops around a lot. But to be honest,
Mhm.
I respect him. He's one of the defenders that I respect now. I think he's also more matured now. When he scores, it's not like, oh, this is Christmas time. He really has a true passion for the game and just want to see Arsenal win. All right, enough of Arsenal.
Liverpool brought Bournemouth 3-0. Luis Diaz is scoring again. He scored another two goals today. He's
Sam
becoming a
Sam's Sam
prolific.
Sam's top two.
Yes, he's becoming a
Top
prolific
two.
winger. And here's the thing about Gakpo. It is
Mhm.
going to be interesting if Luis Diaz keeps doing what he's doing. It's going to be hard for Gakpo to get into that team. Darwin Nunes scores his first goal of the season, and of course, it was the waterworks. Sam, your thoughts about that game?
Overall, great response from Liverpool. For sure, it started with the Champions League win over Milan on their own turf, so that was really, really, really good. Uh, at Anfield, 3-0 is massive, especially with the 1-0 lost just a couple of days prior to that. But going back to Luis Diaz and Gakpo that you mentioned, I think the coach can find time for everybody and also give everybody the opportunity to not just play, but actually perform to a great standard. If you look at Gakpo, he came in and it was you can see the impact in his game. It kind of reminded me, was it Nelson or that Arsenal guy, Nelson? That
Reece
is it Nelson?
Nelson?
Yeah, every time he shows up, if it's 7-10 minutes that he gets to play, he's coming in and giving you 120%. So that's the key thing with substitution. The same thing with Trossard. Whenever he comes in, very effective, right? It's weird that I'm mentioning Arsenal's player. I don't know. I don't know. But I
Hey, they're a
personally,
good team, Sam. They're a good
yeah,
team.
I'll give
That's
that to
just the
them.
honest truth. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll give that to them.
of
So,
course.
yeah, Cody Gakpo will get his own time, and I like one thing that I like. I put that on my notes. I really like the substitution, and I like having Darwin Nunes start just to give Jota a little bit of rest in that aspect. So that's what I want to see. That's how you make sure players don't get tired. That's how you make sure there's healthy competition within the squad, and also everybody knows that, oh, there will be my own time would come. Chiesa came in. You can see that he's hungry. He wanted to do something as well. So, massive credit to them. I want to give massive credit to Keller, our goalkeeper, because although we won 3-0, that game could have been 3-1, 3-2, or maybe at 2-1 or 2-2 before we got to three, because they had some chances too. So, very, very good response across the board. In terms of Nunes, like I said several times, I like the man. I just didn't like the results that I've got in the last two seasons. So I'm hoping things will change. I want to say Nunes, despite not scoring two goals, I like the role he played in that game, because he led what is it called? He let Luis Diaz actually go in deeper. He let him stay up front a little bit. Nunes is coming out, it takes away the attention from Luis Diaz, and Luis Diaz is able to do a lot of work on that left side. Overall, great response from Trent as well. His game kind of got a little sloppy in the last two games, but this one was very, 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 very impressive to see across the board.
No, those are great analysis. It's I haven't seen the game, but some of the commentaries and the comments I've heard, it seems to me that, and this is a credit to Jurgen Klopp building this team and then and it's Slot taking it to the next level. And I'd love to hear your comments on this as well. It seems to me that Liverpool has different ways of attacking now. They can move Darwin Núñez in there, they can move Jota in there for different types of games. There will be some games where why should you want to use a target man? It's not going to work. You need someone that's a force nine. And there are some games where you do need a target man that allows your wingers to score goals as well. So it looks to me now that Liverpool has a team, especially in the attacking sense, where he can chop and change but still play the same system. Are your thoughts?
I completely agree. It's a wonderful squad. A lot of the issues last season were not so much having to do with the talent or the ability or the makeup of the squad. It was just their unsuitability for club style. And so the understanding was that whenever you brought a new manager or we're trying to configure this, it was still always going to be the same squad. Like whenever they were talking about the people who Liverpool were not buying, like all the sales that were not happening, I'm like, this is a stacked squad. That has never been denied. Soboslai has always been a great player. Gravenberch has found his position. They still have Elliott playing. Like that's still Mo Salah. Like that Luis Diaz. I mean, if you watched him over the summer in I keep forgetting what
Come the ball.
well,
Holland, yeah.
he was insane. So and even Darwin for Uruguay. What are we talking about? He was insane over the summer. So these are all talented players. They just had to reconfigure, and most importantly, I'm just impressed by how seamless or how deftly not just Arnie has himself, but the management and the leadership have handled this transition. It shouldn't be this smooth. It just shouldn't. You lose a presence like Jurgen Klopp, you should go into the wilderness. Like maybe not for a full season, at least like the first 10 games. But no, they seem like they're back on mission. They're gonna do way better than they did last season, and they're a threat and need to be taken seriously. It's not just Arsenal and City. You gotta look Liverpool's way because not only do they have the performance, but they still have the pedigree and that counts for something. So it's a
Absolutely.
fantastic team. I'm very interested to see it. Still rooting for Arsenal. Don't get that wrong. But but it's a great institution. Yeah. Mhm.
No, I agree. It's management above the team that has made that selection. They've analyzed this coach. They've understood him from the Eredivisie. They understand how his teams played in Feyenoord. They've understood how he sets up teams, and they could tell the similarities with Jurgen Klopp, but with an addition of keeping more possession. I think that's one of the most specific things I've heard, and a little more directness with their play. I think it's gonna suit them well. Talking about higher leadership and management over clubs, our red team, United, my team, as always, we are playing well. Seems to me that they're looking like they have an identity slowly, but we have an issue with finishing. We have an issue with finishing. They played well. I saw the game. They played very well. First half, should have scored four. Easy. But Crystal Palace missed chances as well. Second half, the last 20 minutes, we were done. We were done. And Crystal Palace kept going and going and going. And I will give credit to where credit's due. Onana was special. He was. He
That was a great
was.
play.
The double save he made was very close to what Raya did the other day.
Oh,
Raya's was just better.
that one
Raya's was better.
I completely disagree.
Well,
Because-
yeah.
Because, like, and not to say it wasn't amazing, but
Mhm.
what made Raya so impressive wasn't so much that he had to make the second save, is that he had to get up and transition to the other side. So
Mhm.
whatever Onana did, as amazing was, it was still in the same space. All he
Mhm.
literally had to do was get up. It was. Am I lying? And
You're not lying. We
like-
know that you love Arsenal, so
No, 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 no.
it's okay.
But I was just a little bit mad when the commentators were saying that. I was like, well, but he played
Oh, man.
fantastic.
He did.
And what I was starting to like to see it, and even though it's not clear, he is good on the ball. And once the team is more balanced, more settled, and he has more protection, I think you see a better side of him. Like he has been exposed. Like, and not exposed in a sense of like exposed as like he's worse than we say he is, but exposed as people have been having just free reign at Man United's defense, and no goalkeeper that's exposed that much is going to end up looking good. And now that it's becoming a little bit more solid, you're seeing the better aspects of Onana like take hold, and I was happy for the fella. He needs it.
There's a thing about all these players that have been disappointing. They're doing well this season. Something is changing. I'm talking about Nunes. I'm talking about Onana. I'm talking about Nicholas Jackson of Chelsea. Something is
Yes, yeah,
changing.
scored two out of their 3 goals today
Yeah.
when they
Very
beat West
impressive.
Ham.
He's another player I defended so aggressively.
Yeah.
I never understood Chelsea fans how they. I mean, it's still like, I don't know if they should have a culture, but they turned on him too fast. That's the
I
kind
think
of
so too.
that's the kind of player you love into excellence.
That's Chelsea for you.
He showed all the things. He wasn't coming together, but he showed all the things: the movement, the anticipation, the intelligence of knowing where to be, the spaces to attack, the depth feet. You just had to love it into, like, it was good. The last piece, and I think he might do amazing this season.
I
don't
think
know.
so too.
Yeah,
I
but
saw the game. And I was just looking. I was like, he's a good goal scorer. What are we talking about here? Both finishes, outside foot, both like he. It's like he knew what he was doing. Of course, he knows what he's doing. He's a good striker.
I think he's an intelligent player that lacked confidence.
Mhm.
it was
We-
clear.
Yeah, so now he's getting into it and getting eased into it. The same thing applies to Nunes. If you build that confidence and play with a team, one of the things that he lacked in the last season, well, the entire Chelsea forward was just not playing together. So now they are playing together, giving each other passes. And I think they're gonna go places this season for sure.
I would say stand out of the Chelsea team, and I don't root for them. I don't think I can. Maybe next season I'll try. But Caicedo has been showing.
Yeah, I'm getting on board as well. I think
He is starting to show what we were seeing and we thought was a one-off at Brighton. Like, there is an intelligence, and not just to his holding play, but his one touch. That where you pass the first pass, and it's just really smart, really smart. He's not holding on to the ball, which is
Yeah.
something that you'd feel like is the antithesis of like what you'd expect a number six to be. The number six is all to dwell on the ball and like really like no, he just lets go of it, and it's all intelligent passes that makes space, or like he plays it into really dangerous areas for the attacking team to take advantage of. Like very, very, very intelligent, but also very, very interesting because he's
Yeah,
it's
I know why that's the case. The reason
yeah.
why is because of Maresca. I saw his Leicester team play a lot last season. I actually watched his Leicester team, and I'm seeing very similar similarities of how he wants to play, and a lot of it is very similar to what Caicedo is doing. I will go back to that game against Wolves where they scored 7. Remember that last goal? Remember how they built it from the left to the right? That's how he wants to play. And there are certain players that he wants to put on the field that can do that. You wonder why he bought Sancho. Sancho is good at that. That's the reason why. Now you're seeing those intricate passing now because they're very specific people he wants. You wonder why Modric is on the bench. You wonder why Felix is on the bench. You
No,
wonder
oh
why
yeah, oh yeah.
Nkuku is on the bench. Nkuku is on the bench. You wonder why. The reason why is because he has a specific way of playing, and he will play players in those specific positions to create the same thing he did in Leicester. He had Jusbury Hall, he had Ndidi, they did the same. He had Winks, they did the same thing. Winks might be I don't want to say Winks is a poor man's, you know, Caicedo, but Winks did those simple things well. The same thing with Caicedo. Caicedo now brings a little bit of aggression with that just because of who he is, but he's making them very technically good, and that's what we're seeing now. Been very impressed. Yeah, great week in terms of week 5. Amigos, please like, share, subscribe. Would love to hear your thoughts. A lot of controversy with the referees, but a lot of fun games as well. The Premier League is getting hot, it's getting exciting. Teams are playing well. Teams that you think are not winning games are actually winning games, and it's keeping the top 4, top 5, top 8 on their toes. That's exactly what we want to see. We don't want one team winning everything all the time like Man City is. I think it's going to be a huge challenge this season. Amigos, thank you so much. Love, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to you all soon.